All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. My name is John, and today I wanted to make an update to one of my old videos, and we're going to be talking about my contribution and node worker setup. And the reason why we're making an update was recently they added in the Pearl Shop. Where is it actually? It's probably under function. You know, the farming fences that you can buy now. And with a lot of people who invested 100 CP into their fences, got it refunded by buying Pearl, like the Pearl version of it, I wanted to give an update on what I had. And I personally, I still have the old fences, and I guess I'll just buy them one at a time whenever I think I need them. But as of right now, I think if you were to buy the new fences and you don't have enough workers, the upkeep is going to be really high, so you're going to have a lot of extra nodes and everything without the amount of workers. So with that said, I have another video on that entirely. Are the farming fences worth it, and what should you do about it? So I don't think it's a bad thing. If you decide to buy it, it's whatever, and it's not like magically making you billions of silver a day. It's just an additional couple million silver from workers every day. So yeah, it is profit, but you're also spending like $100 in real money. So either way, I don't think it's a bad thing. You do what you want. I don't tell people what to do. So anyway, with that said, let's go over all the nodes and stuff that I have. So I think this is easier to look at over here, because if I set it up like this, it's just hard to see everything. So anyway, let's start with all of the towns you get to from the beginning. So whether you're a new player or an endgame player, I'll go through all the notable nodes and the ones that I think are the most profitable. And let's start from the beginner towns all the way to the later ones. So anyway, with that said, starting in Velia, I personally think that the nodes that are worth a lot here are the chicken meat, timbers, and saps. Generally, with the whole life skilling thing that got revamped a couple of months ago, they actually have a lot more like valuable nodes, because people are doing a lot of endgame life skilling for various elixir crafting, potions and foods, cooking and everything. So anyway, here's what I have. I'm not going to go over every single node. You guys can look at it if you want to, but I will point out some of the important ones that I think are worth getting. So over here, chicken meat is very good. The reason why we have chicken meat on these two are because if you cook a lot and you're just trying to boost your CP in general, by cooking chicken meat, it's like very cheap material, and you could just cook it all day, every day, and then get a lot of the byproducts and then turn it into CP. So with that said, those are the ones I think are important. Everything else over here, timbers are worth it, but it also depends what you're getting. But ash sap is always going to be something that everyone is going to be using, because it's for endgame elixirs, and I think that's the one that is worth your time. And so over here as well, spirit leaves are worth a lot if you know how to craft and do alchemy. Spirit leaves are worth it. Everything else here is just like iron ore, and it's like if you need iron ore, it's good to have, but you kind of have to be more towards the intermediate to endgame player to like know what it's actually for. So with that said, those are the notable ones. And I guess down here, are these considered Balenos? I don't know, but Powder of Time is something that is more of an endgame one, but it's not expensive. You can buy it, but I think it's worth just having it stocked up so when you do need it. And timbers are always worth a lot as well. One thing I will talk about actually is excavation nodes. And ever since they made the change, I think it was like a few months ago, traces are a lot easier to get nowadays than they were before. But to get them, assuming you were to do exactly what I did, and then you went to this node, for example, and then you don't see this one, the node manager, you talk to them and then pay like energy or something, and then they'll unlock this, and then it's permanent, so you're good to go. Down in Heidel, the important ones, I believe, are wheat, and I think there's less relevant ones nowadays because the price is going down and more people have it. But generally, wheat, if you are like this, the same as the chicken meat, except it makes beer. But if you're going for the contribution points, then it's basically the same thing. Down here in Glish Runes, we have another one, Trace of Origin. It is used for elixir crafting, so it's good for me. Maybe not for everyone else, but with a whole lot of CP, why not? It's good to have more iron ore, and this one is mostly for lead ore. It's one of those special ones that I don't think most people need. But if anything in the Serendia region, it'd probably be the wheat nodes, if anything. And then over here, timber is always a good choice because you'll either need it or you can sell it and boost your processing really quickly. So if for some reason you're trying to power level that, that's one way. Next, going into the Calpheon area, we actually don't have as many nodes as I used to. But if you had a lot of extras, what I would do is go down here and then put them, like, connect it from Kaplan down to here. And there's a lot of interesting nodes you can play with over here. But what I still have connected are more timbers over here, platinum ore. Platinum ore is very expensive, actually. And then more wheat and barley, which is basically the same thing as in Serendia, where we have the wheat for a reason. And then more timbers over here. Timbers are generally worth a lot, so it's a high value node in my opinion. So going down to Port Epheria, I used to actually have more nodes connected to here. And I might actually just put them back because I have like 5 CP and I have no idea what to put it in, but we'll figure it out. So down here, we have fish nodes. So the reason why I even had these nodes in the first place is back in the day, this is probably maybe 5-6 years ago, getting pet food was like, actually it was sold out on the market at all times. So the way to get them is making it yourself. And then I've just had these nodes for like 6 years. And then it's like, I never took them off. Well, I've slowly removed some of them. But anyway, so if you see all these fish around here, the dried fish, some of these can be used to cook like pet food. And then that will just basically set you up for the rest of your BDO career. Otherwise, nowadays, you just buy it off the market. So you can skip this entire process in general. So if you're short on CP, you don't even need these nodes, just buy the pet food off the market. But this is what it'll look like, just all these dried fish, and then this is a couple years worth of it, so that's that. Going into the Kamasylvia region, we have Trent and Behr. So I would consider all of these nodes kind of like more on the end game side of things because you probably won't get them if you don't need them, and some of these are kind of expensive. So once again, timbers are like abundant here, and then if you look in my storage, well, I actually kind of moved them to process them, but like spirit leaves are worth a lot. Pine sap, depends if you need it or not, but there's a lot of timbers and more saps that are valuable. So I connected this all the way, like from Trent all the way down to here, and just timbers, saps, and a lot of various other things. This is kind of a stretch in nodes, but like I used to have it connected down here as well, but you can sort of sort that out. And going into the Kamasylvia area, we'll talk about Old Wisdom Tree in a second. But for Grana, this is also one of those things where I think Kamasylvia is on the side of like, you don't really need them. You get these nodes because there's something you want to make in particular. So what I have is down in Tooth Fairy Forest, we have the Trace of Forest, and I think it's not worth as much as it was before, but I mean, I still had it, and every now and then I use it. So yeah, we just kind of have all this just running. And I actually had the node for Ash Forest because, well, I was grinding there for Devos, and then every now and then I come back to it. So we have a level 20 node, and that's basically it. It's a level 20 node, and then down here we have loopy tree timber and loopy tree sap and the planks. Those aren't really worth much, but it's interesting to have the node. So down in Old Wisdom Tree, we have this connected to Thornwood Forest. I should probably level up Thornwood just because Dekia is pretty good. But mostly we're going for the Thornwood Timber and the Thornwood Sap. The Sap is very valuable and on short demand, so it's good to have this node going on. It's very valuable. Going down into Odraxia, we have a chicken meat node. Same with like the Balenos reason. I told you why we get chicken meat, just for boosting your contribution points up. And then down here we have more Thornwood Sap, which is something I actually do use for a lot of elixir crafting, as you guys can see. And then getting Thornwood Sap is very valuable. Olin's Valley, I have Mithril. This kind of is a sketch node because like Mithril is important, but it's more for like the endgame players. And it also doesn't really give you a lot of Mithril. So it's like, it is good, but its chances are it's going to be there for a while. Next we have Duvinkroon. I used to have this connected over here, but then the timer was actually longer from connecting to Trent than to just connecting it short over from Duvinkroon. And what we have is more Mithril and Trace of Memory. So down here it is, yeah, more Mithril. And then Trace of Memory is something that is very valuable for elixirs, and I believe it's used for the wagon from the Kamasylvia questline from Marandora. So that's why I have those. But there's not really a lot down here. There's just very specific nodes that I think are important. And yeah, good to have it. Mountain of Eternal Winter in Eilton. We have the important one, which is Snowfield Cedar Sap. Everything else is important too. Rough Trade is, if you know how to use it, it's good. But otherwise, it sells for a decent amount of silver. So it's like either way, whether you use it or sell it, it's decent. Timbers over here, Trace of Death, and if you think you need it, it's good. But you could buy these off the market pretty easily. There's always a lot in stock. So cooking honey is important. Also in Heidel, cooking honey is also an important node as well. I think nowadays it's easy to get because everyone has nodes. But back in the day, many years ago, cooking honey was something you had to keep a node on, but then I've just had it on for years. And then down here, we have the lumber camp. I should actually put some points under here. Cool. Glish. I should fix that to not a giant, and I should put like a goblin on here, but it's fine. We'll just leave it there for now. So that's Eilton. I guess since we're here, this is the new region. I have this connected. There aren't any, like, you're connecting these nodes for the item drop rate bonus. So like I was grinding City of the Dead. As you guys can see, I'm going for the flame for the Ator shoes, the artifact. These are the trash loot. I have 740,000 trash loot from City of the Dead. That's about like 25 billion silver, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there. That's about like 90 hours. So anyway, I have this for the node. I'm trying to go for the telescope. I have Tungrad Ruins connected. And then we also have the Dark Seeker's Retreat. None of these actually give anything. These are all just for item drop rate nodes, and that's about it. So this came out a few days ago, this new town, Mosgar, and there's nothing in there. We just have these connected because I want to get my things faster, and so I can be out of here. Down in the Tarif area, a lot of these are very specific nodes. It's a kind of a cost CP intensive setup, but it's kind of like, these are kind of valuable nodes, but it does cost a lot of CP, especially connecting all the way here for the timbers and cedars. So these are valuable nodes. They just kind of cost a lot. Zinc ore is very valuable. An excavation node for Trace of Earth. I think this one, you could probably remove this one now that Darkseeker's Retreat came out and people are just selling Traces of Earth like it's candy. But either way, just keep the node on it. If you know what to do with it for elixir crafting, then it should be good. Everything else here is zinc ore and coal. Very valuable nodes to have. Everything else is just kind of like not high value, but I use it personally. Then connecting from Altinova, we have more zinc and iron ore. These are something that I think are just generally good to have. So here you can see we have 1.9 million elder tree timber, and that's just from the nodes connecting it. We have a lot of elder tree stuff going on, and yeah, it's like, will I ever process it? Probably not, unless they make like mass processing even faster. So I always told myself, if I want to hard push my processing to Guru 50, this is literally how I'm going to do it. Is it efficient? Is it worth my time and money versus doing anything else? No, it's not. But if I wanted to push for Guru 50, this is how I'm doing it. Everything else I think is personal preference. So down in Arehaza, I have the Ganvia volcano zone, and I would recommend not picking up anything in Valencia unless you really know what you're doing with it. So I have it for titanium and powder flame, and then this one is vanadium. And here in the storage, yeah, like this is what I'm going for. Like I actually use vanadium. It's used for making Monos accessories, but it's still expensive to do it either way. So if you are a sailor and you're looking for what is it, blueprints and starlight powder, we could talk about that in a second, but these are the few nodes you need. One here, and these two over here. These will give you the blueprints for your Carrack if you need it, and then of course starlight powder, but you can get those in multiple other ways now. Here in the Land of the Morning Light, we have a couple of nodes connected. One down here for Trace of Memory, which I think is a valuable node. It's kind of a few hour cycle from town to delivery, but it's fine because we actually use all this. So everything in Land of the Morning Light is 1 CP, but some of the drop rates for some of the things you want, like let me give you an example. If you are making crystals yourself, these are like end game crystals more or less. You kind of want like the crystal of decimation and everything else that comes along with it. The drop rate is kind of low for it. Just keep in mind, if you can grind like a 1 bill an hour, or even not even 1 bill in like a couple hours, it's probably better to just buy the crystal and off the market than have the node on. But over here, I have the Dokubi Forest. We have this because I want the forest crystal. Ever since Land of the Morning Light, guess how many forest crystals I've gotten? 0. Just throwing that out there. I've got a couple of Crystal of Harmonies, and those are used to make those ultimate Hooms and Macalods, which are very important. So it is worth having the node on there for, because those are like 1 billion silver. Down here, we have it for Crystal of Darkness and Bitterness. I don't think these are as valuable as they were back when Land of the Morning Light came out, but it's like if you get them, they might go up in price one day. Who knows? Why not? And then Saps and Timbers, as we talked about, more Saps and Timbers. And of course, down here, we have more Saps and Timbers, but this one is different because we have the Crystal of Decimation, and I think that's good. So the Mysterious Powder is for the new boat over down by the pier. And so basically, if you need the blueprints for the new boat from the Land of the Morning Light, this is how you get it, along with the Starlight Powder and everything. So yeah, I really wish that you could sell these blueprints, because you only need like a few. It's either 1 or 10. I don't actually remember, but like once you get over the cap, it's like irrelevant. So if you needed all of this to craft furnitures and everything, these are the nodes to get it. Otherwise, Starlight Powder to upgrade your boat and everything. It's all good. And yeah, that's about it. So that's a lot of my CP setup, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This would have been a lot more confusing to talk about if we looked at it like this. So if you want to figure out how to do everything, I just click these buttons at the top, and that's how you can see the nodes. But other than that, that's my updated node setup. If we get any new things, basically defenses are going, and I'll be buying the Pearl Shop ones. But aside from that, that's cool. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new to your channel, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you guys come back. And if you want to see anything new, like new content and or stuff that just came out recently, I make videos for beginners, returning players, and people who are just looking to get better at the game. So I would hopefully see you sometime again. And that's it for me. I'll see you guys later. Peace.